Mrs. Salters, you two have been married for a while, but you are going to call it a day. You want some money from damages that were done to the apartment, and we're going to talk about that momentarily. But before we do, Ms. Salters, I'm going to start with you and ask you, I mean, you're young. You're what, 23?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember 23. How did you get, so you've been married how long?
A year and a half.
A year and a half?
Yeah.
Tell me how you met him, how you got involved, and why you got married so young.
I met him, he delivered my furniture.
Okay.
That's how we met. He delivered one set of some temporary furniture at first, and then I thought he was attractive, and I
Don't
didn't
tell
really...
me you ordered more just so you could see him.
No.
Oh, good.
No.
I was worried.
They didn't have the furniture that I wanted at first, so they gave me some temporary
I don't
furniture.
need to play-by-play on the furniture. kind of fast forward me to...
Okay. I had run into him a couple more times. The first time that I had met him and he delivered the first furniture, he kind of flirted and smelled something that I was cooking and joked around and said that he was going to come back for dinner. He didn't come, which was fine. I didn't expect him to. And I ran into him again. Another dinner conversation came up. This time I blew him off. Like, it didn't matter. And then a third time when he delivered my furniture, I actually was not there. My relative was there, and she had said something to him along the lines of, my cousin thinks you're attractive, she wants your number. He wrote it down. I called him a few days later, and he never left.
And he never left? Are you serious?
Yeah.
So how many times had you seen him? 3, 4?
4 times.
Four times, and on the 4th time, just delivering furniture. Wasn't over there having a meaningful conversation with you or nothing. 4 times delivered furniture, boom, moved in. Is that pretty much what happened?
Yes, we had some meaningful conversation in
During the deliveries?
After the deliveries.
After the deliveries.
Through text
Okay.
messages.
What is your biggest problem now that is ending your marriage?
I feel like Mr. Salters is not dependable. Every time we get into an argument, he's quick to leave. We have a 4-year-old daughter that we're raising together, and her reaction is, oh, Dad's mad. He's just going to leave. He'll be back. And
How long does he leave for?
Sometimes days, sometimes weeks. It's kind of...
Do you have a tendency to leave the house during arguments?
I do. I get frustrated, and I decide to leave, and intentions to probably break up, but it's not really what I want to do.
So you mean to tell me you intend to break up every time you have an argument, you leave with that in mind, and then, well, maybe not, and come back?
Well, not necessarily like that. We have a kind of... It goes its ways. It's like we'll have weekly arguments, and then after about 5 or 6 of arguments, then we get into one really big argument, and then that's when I decide to go because the communication is not there. She holds stuff in, balls it in, and then once I forget to take the trash out, all this hits the fan. All of it hits the fan.
It all explodes. Ms. Salter, he says you hang on to anger and hurt and let it all ball up and explode. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why he leaves, because he can't respond to 6 months worth of issues in one argument.
Overwhelmed
by it. And we're going to talk about that momentarily, but before we do, Ms. Salters, I want to talk to you about your profession. He doesn't like it. What do you do?
During the day, I am a private in-home care professional.
Giver,
During the night, I dance.
You're an exotic dancer?
Yes.
Okay. And were you doing that when you met him?
Yeah.
Okay. Is your problem with that really big?
It more boils down to when she comes home intoxicated and wants to pick an argument with me, and then it leads into the next day.
Well, what do you people argue about?
Finances, and for the most part, I feel like he just doesn't want me to do it anymore because I have been doing it a long time.
Mm-hmm.
However, he's not doing nothing to change it. He's not working. He's not taking, I go to school and I have 2 jobs and I'm raising the baby and take care of home. He's not doing anything to take me out of it. So unless you're doing something about it, hush.
Mr. Salter, she says she's going to school, she has 2 jobs, and she's the primary child caregiver. Is that accurate?
That is true.
Well, what are you doing?
Unfortunately, I have some tax issues that I have to fulfill and get taken care of. That's why I haven't been able to get into school and try to get financial aid, because they want proof of me paying taxes for the jobs when I did work.
Mm-hmm. So why don't you get another job?
I am looking for another job, actually. I've been working with the temp service it was temporary. They haven't called me in a week, But other than that, I have been making progress.
Are you the primary? The fact you don't have a job and you're not in school, and I get that. Do you take care of the house?
I mean, in the beginning, I did have an issue with my help around the house.
Right.
But I've been coming more out and helping, taking the trash out, cooking, keeping the kids clean, doing everything I have to.
You know, it's interesting when people say I'm helping or I'm doing. Helping means I do as much as I can. Doing means I do whatever needs to be done. I think you're helping and not doing. Am I accurate?
Yes, he is getting better than what he was.
Yo, what is UP, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Listen, I watch a lot of these court shows, but this one right here, this one had me yelling at my screen in the first 2 minutes. We got the Salters. Married a year and a half. Met because dude was delivering furniture to her apartment. 4 deliveries later, he's living there. 4 deliveries. I gotta watch this with y'all because it only gets crazier from here. Let's get into it.
And I appreciate that, and I'm sure she appreciates that, but you have to see that as your primary gig. And I think it's difficult for men sometimes because they do feel less than when they do women's work, which, you know, wow, get over that. But it has real value and meaning.
Right.
And for you to see a woman go to school and have 2 jobs and you don't have it together when you get home, I think your manhood should shrivel up on that one. You have a distressing tale to tell about your wedding day.
I invited 2 guests to go and be a witness, so did he. 2 of my witnesses were my friends. His 2, I was under the impression that was just somebody that, you know, was close to him. It turns out that the woman who was there was not just somebody who was close to him, who meant something to him. It was a woman who he was intimate with before me. Mind you, he didn't tell me this before we got married. I just found this out 2 months ago.
Did you bring an ex to witness your wedding?
I did, but it was short notice. It was some person that that was real. I mean, she was close to me regardless. And it was short notice. I needed somebody to witness. I didn't have, all my other friends were busy at work. And
I got it.
but also at the same time.
Why did you marry so quickly?
That I don't know. I mean, because judging by the way things have gone, days prior to us getting married, which was days after my birthday, she slept with somebody else and lied to me about it before we got married.
Now, how long did you know each other before you got married?
5 months.
5 months, but you had already moved in by then.
Yes.
Correct? And you found out that she slept with somebody else just before the wedding?
Yes.
Days before?
Days. My birthday's on the 13th of March. We got married on the 21st of March. I wanted to spend my birthday with her and my daughter, and she had an issue with about past females or whatnot. So I told her, I mean, if we're not going to hang out for my birthday and this is what you want to do, I'm going to drop you back off at home. At that time, I was staying at a friend's house because we had split up at that time. She said, if you drop me off at home, then we're done. So I dropped her off at home. I went home. We ended up talking within a few days later, and then I came back over. We talked about it, talked about the situation some more, and decided we wanted to get married. She asked me, did I sleep with anybody else in the time that we were not together? I said no, which was true. I asked Miss Salters. She said no, which was a lie, that she told me January that she slept with this man days before we got married.
Is that true, Miss Salters?
Okay, so right off the bat, she's 23, he's delivering furniture to her place, flirts with her, doesn't come back for dinner like he said he would, and then her cousin basically hooks them up by sliding his number over. 4 times he comes to deliver furniture and that's it. Boom, he's moved in. That is moving fast, y'all. Now we get into why they're actually splitting. She's saying he's not dependable, that every time they argue, he leaves. Not for an hour, not to cool off. Days, sometimes weeks. And their 4-year-old daughter already has a whole reaction prepared for it, like, oh, Dad's mad, he'll be back. A 4-year-old already knows the pattern. That right there should stop you in your tracks. Then he tries to explain it, says they argue every week. She bottles things up, and then it explodes into one big blow up and he gets overwhelmed, so he leaves. And the judge calls it out immediately. He can't respond to 6 months of issues in one argument, so he just exits. Then we get to what she does for work. She's an exotic dancer, going to school, working 2 jobs, raising their daughter basically by herself, and he not working. Tax issues holding him back from financial aid, looking for a job, doing a little more around the house than he used to. The judge straight up tells him, helping is not doing. That line hit hard. And then, the wedding. She invites her witnesses, he invites his, and one of his witnesses is a woman he used to be intimate with. She didn't even know who this woman was until 2 months ago, at her own wedding.
Yes, but in my defense, it was in one of his spurs of leaving. So at that point, I was fed up then, before we got married. But how we ended up married, I don't know.
Whose idea was it to get married?
Before I allowed him to come back in the house, he said, you know, I don't want to lose you. You're important in my life. I can't wait to marry you. And I said, yeah, right. If that was the case, we'll go tomorrow. And he said, well, let's go tomorrow. So we did.
So you did it on a dare, almost. I mean, it was just like, oh, you know, I'm going to show you. And next thing, you guys are shuffling down the aisle. And now you don't have any children together yet.
No.
But you're pregnant.
Yes.
You say that he watches a lot of porn, Mrs. Salters. Is that true?
Yes.
You said in your petition that he looks at porn with women that don't look anything like you and they have a particular type, and you think that he likes a type other than you.
I mean, he watches everything, Asian, black, everything but my race, which I'm Hispanic. So I feel like, what is he looking in these women that I'm not giving him? Because he gets a lot of goodness. So
Mr. Salters, you're multi-ethnic, multiracial porn watcher. Why don't you talk about that? And she has some problems with her. There are no Hispanics included.
Well, she does not watch the porn with me, so she doesn't know what I'm watching. I watch a lot of porn a lot of various porn, which black, white, Mexican, Asian, Ethiopian.
It's just got to be
long as they're not fat, it's not gay, and they're not doing no bondage or none of that craziness. I don't do that kinky stuff now. But
you just like that good old wholesome porn. I understand. Something in your petition about you falling asleep after having wisdom teeth taken out. Would you explain to me why that was so important to you? That you needed to convey it to me?
basically my wisdom teeth had to be pulled out like immediately. Within 2 days, I had went to the dentist on one day, then they had scheduled my surgery the next day. They pulled out the teeth, whatever. I'm anemic, so the doctor gave him specific instructions. Pay attention to her when she goes home and falls asleep. You want to make sure that her, she doesn't drown in her own blood or something of that sort. Well, the night before my surgery, he couldn't sleep for whatever reason, doesn't matter. When I got home from the dentist, I went straight to sleep. I wake up from my daughter tapping me and telling me, Mommy, you're bleeding, you're bleeding. I woke up with blood all around my face. And I was choking on the gauze that was in my mouth. I woke up, he slept next to me instead of taking care of me.
Well, I'd ask you to respond to that.
Okay, I gotta stop right here because this wisdom teeth moment, this is the part that actually shook me. Let me break this all the way down for you. She gets her wisdom teeth pulled, not a minor thing, she's anemic, meaning her blood doesn't clot the way it's supposed to. The dentist gives direct instructions to him. Watch her when she falls asleep, because there's a real risk she could choke or even drown in her own blood. This is not a casual, keep an eye on her. This is a medical safety instruction from a doctor. And what happens? He doesn't sleep well the night before, so when she comes home and falls asleep, he falls asleep right next to her. And it's their 4-year-old daughter who wakes up, sees blood everywhere, and has to shake her own mother awake saying, Mommy, you're bleeding. A child caught what the adult in the room was supposed to be watching for. Let's sit with that for a second. This is a man who was given a direct, specific medical safety responsibility, and he chose his own tiredness over his wife's physical safety. And when the judge asks him to respond, what does he say? I was tired, I'm a night owl, I didn't get much sleep. That's it. No real accountability, no acknowledgement of how serious that could have been. Now let's talk legal angle for a second, because this case is technically a divorce hearing about a $300 security deposit. He punched a hole in the wall. She wants that money back from him before they fully split. But what the judge is really doing here, and you can feel it, is using this platform to expose a much bigger pattern of irresponsibility. The judge isn't just ruling on drywall damage. She's diagnosing an entire relationship dynamic. A man who disappears during conflict, who isn't contributing financially or domestically, who brought an ex to his own wedding, and who fell asleep on a literal safety responsibility. And here's the human angle, because this is the part that really gets me. This woman is 23. She's juggling 2 jobs, school, a toddler, and now a second pregnancy. And she is doing all of this while also being the primary line of defense for her own husband's well-being during arguments, his finances, and apparently her own medical safety too. She is parenting 2 people in that house, and he, by his own admission, leaves for days, sometimes weeks, every time he feels overwhelmed. What's wild to me is neither of them seem to register how serious some of this is. The wisdom teeth incident isn't framed by either of them as a near-miss medical emergency. It's framed as, oh, he just fell asleep. That kind of normalization, that's the real red flag here. When something that serious gets shrugged off as no big deal, that tells you how used to disappointment this relationship has become. And the judge, to her credit, doesn't let it slide. She tells him directly, you have to adjust your habits to accommodate the situation. If you know someone is having surgery, you make sure you are equipped to take care of them. That's not negotiable. That's baseline partnership. This is the moment in the whole video where I just had to pause, because it's easy to laugh at the furniture delivery love story, easy to laugh at the multicultural porn comment, but this part is not funny. This is a woman who could have genuinely choked, and the response was unconsciousness instead of vigilance.
But there's really not much you can say, is there?
No, not really.
You just kind of fell asleep.
Just fell asleep. I didn't get much sleep last night. I'm a night owl, and I don't sleep much at night anyway.
You weren't up doing porn, were you?
No, I wasn't. No, I was not watching porn.
You know, you have to adjust your habits to accommodate the situation. And if you know she's going into surgery, you know, you get a good night's sleep because you got to be, you know, a caretaker the next day. You got to take that kind of thing seriously. You know what I mean?
Yes. And actually, I fell asleep early that night, and I woke up, and then I couldn't go back to sleep.
You know, for the first 4 months of my first son's life, I never got more than 3 hours sleep a night, but I never missed it. I never missed nothing. You know what I mean? I got up, you know, even when I was exhausted and tired, I always got up. You gotta get up when you have a job to do, whether you're tired or not. Miss one night's sleep, you know, come on now. Listen, because you guys were so young, you're looking in here to end a marriage, I gave you a compatibility test to figure out, just to see if I could see anything interesting. Not really. But you used the phrase negative assumptions 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Why didn't you explain that to me?
She has a lot of negative assumptions. Say I'm up on the computer looking for jobs, and we have an argument. She'll come in there and say, well, what are you going to do? You going to be in here all night? So, like, why can't you just ask me if I'm going to come to bed soon and not start an argument versus coming at me sideways?
I got you.
It's just, I mean, it's not necessary. And it happens quite often.
She always assumes, she never gives you the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
She always assumes you're doing something negative or inappropriate without first inquiring as to what's going on. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Ms. Salter, you had a response to that?
I do. I can give an example. A lot of times he walks around with an attitude or angry demeanor, and I'll ask him, like, why are you angry? And he'll turn around, I'm not angry. Like, yes, you are. And he gets upset because he feels like I'm always thinking he's angry. But if you have an angry, negative attitude about everything, then I'm gonna automatically alone.
No, sometimes I'll have a bad day and I'll just want to be left alone.
Bad day? Now explain that to me. You're not working. You're watching a lot of porn. How bad can your day be?
I'm not watching porn that much. I only watch porn when I don't get it, but that's another topic. But anyways,
well, you punched a hole in the wall once because that's what she's suing over. Why don't you explain to me why you punched that hole in the wall?
That was from her bottling stuff in and then blowing up on me for...
First of all, let's talk about what you're here for. You're here because you don't think you're going to get your deposit back from the apartment. Once you guys leave, he's punched a hole in the wall, and you've got to pay for that, and the deposit is $300. Do you deny at all punching that hole in the wall?
I do not, but at the same time, I'm in groundskeeping with the temp service that I work with, which...
All right, let's get back into it, because after that, the judge pivots into the porn conversation. And listen, she straight up says he watches every ethnicity except her own, since she's Hispanic. And his defense is basically, well, she doesn't watch with me, so she doesn't even know what I watch. Followed by him listing out exactly what he watches. Which, sir, you just proved her point. Then we get into this pattern of negative assumptions. He says she always assumes the worst about him without asking first, and she comes back with, well, if you're always walking around angry, what am I supposed to assume? And honestly, fair point both ways. Then the wall. He admits to punching a hole in it during one of her bottling it up then exploding moments, which the judge connects right back to that same pattern we already talked about. Communication breakdown, blow up, consequence. And then the judge drops the real gut punch line of the whole episode. Divorce or no divorce, you two are bonded by this child. You're going to need to learn how to communicate. She tells him specifically, your job is to listen and to make her feel safe enough to disagree with you without fear of your reaction. And she tells her, stop assuming, start stating clearly what you need. But then the final line from the judge is the one that's going to stick with me. You guys are thinking like 14-year-olds, living the lives of grown people. Moved in after 4 furniture deliveries, married after a dare, pregnant again. And in the middle of all this, a man who couldn't stay awake to make sure his wife didn't choke on her own blood. She rules in favor of Miss Salters, the full $300 deposit. And honestly, after everything we just heard, that's the least of what happened in that apartment.
And I think a lot of false okayers are afraid to say they're not okay because they're afraid of your reaction. I don't really know, but that's just a good guess. And I'm not, you know what I'm saying? It's over the top. And it causes static in your head. Also, quit making abrupt decisions. The abrupt decision to move the furniture man in with you after four deliveries of furniture, the abrupt decision to marry, getting pregnant, leaving the house, gonna go away, have sex with somebody else. You guys are thinking like 14-year-olds and you're living lives of grown people. You got a kid on the way and you can't stop that. You're the one that caused the damage. You're gonna get to fix it in the way you want. She may lose her deposit, so she's gonna get the $300. $300 in favors Miss Salters. It is so ordered.
Y'all, I need to know. Was the wisdom teeth moment as shocking to you as it was to me? Drop a comment right now and tell me where you would have drawn the line in this relationship, because for me, that was it. If this video got you as fired up as it got me, smash that like button right now, subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and comment below. I read every single one. Let's go!